Hey yo, welcome to another edition of Hey Yo. I am the host of this show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, Del Rico Shelton. It's football season, people, and I apologize for missing last week. I was under the weather, but you know, it happens. When you coach kids and all the other stuff, sometimes you get the germs, and for some reason, kid germs tends to kill adults. Because I was damn well one of them. But anywho, it's football season, which means I get to cover my Dallas Cowboys. And I guess because I live in Washington, D.C., I got to say something and cover the Washington Commanders, or I call them Commanders. But before I get into Commanders, this was, and while I'm recording this, the Monday night game and the Sunday night game has not happened yet. This is directly after the Dallas Cowboys, my Dallas Cowboys, defeat the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland 33-17. And let me say this. Just to kind of get it all out the way. This was the first broadcast by Tom Brady. If I recall, Tom Brady got like a $300 million contract with Fox, which is crazy. He's on the number one team, which is not crazy because if you recall Tony Romo, when he retired from football, he became the number one team on CBS. Let me say this about Tom Brady. You could tell he was trying to feel his way, so to speak. But overall, for Tom Brady's first broadcast, I give him a B plus. I will give him a B plus. Yes, I said it, a B plus, because I forgot his main guy, the color commentary guy, but he was throwing Tom some stuff. Tom wasn't picking up on it quick enough, but you can tell by Tom's voice he really enjoys talking football. So I look forward to hearing Tom Brady on the calls for Fox. And if I recall, I think at the end of the broadcast they said they're going to broadcast and commentate for the Dallas Cowboys again versus the New Orleans Saints in Dallas next week. Now, let's get into some football. Oh, by the way, this program, as always, is sponsored by Rose Sweets LLC. That's Rose Sweets LLC, the best cake, pops, and cupcakes in the DMV area. They are a small business in Southern Maryland. You can reach them on Instagram or Facebook at roll_sweets_LLC and also rollsweets@gmail.com. For a certain amount, they will actually deliver to you too. I want to say it's got to be $100 though. Again, small business. But try them out. Because I ain't gonna lie, that red velvet cupcake of theirs is on point. It's on point. And as always, you see the Riverside.fm come across the screen. That's who helps broadcast my beautiful program to you, the people. And please like, share, and subscribe to Hey Yo with D Shelton on Spotify, Apple, and iHeart, or wherever you get your podcast from. Now let's get into some football. Damn, I'm excited. Especially since my Cowboys came off with a 33-17 win. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Because I'm going to tell you all the truth. I try to tell you all the truth as much as I can. I'm not going to embellish. I know y'all say you are a crazy Cowboy fan like all the rest. No. I'm honest with my team. And I make no bones about it. I was scared to death of this game. Reason being is in Cleveland. We're facing last season's number one defense with, in my estimation, the best defensive player, Myles Garrett, in the league. Deshaun Watson comes back off his shoulder surgery. Remember, he didn't finish the season last year. Joe Flacco finished the season and got them in the playoffs. So I knew the dog pound was going to be jumping. Plus, the Dallas offense has, let me put it this way. Dak didn't play preseason. CeeDee Lamb had a contract holdout until about 10 days ago. Dak didn't even have his contract, and we'll get into that in a little bit, until today. So it's like, damn, I don't know what to expect. We got two rookie offensive linemen, center and left tackle. I had no clue. I'm like, please, let's just let this be a good game. And man, that defense now, let me backtrack. I've always been a proponent. I do not look at week one like everybody else, especially in today's times, because the offensive starters for offense and defense generally do not play during preseason. So I know it's going to be a lot of sloppy play, a lot of penalties, drop balls, calls, and all the other stuff. So that was another reason why I was scared to death. The defense, and once again, I'm trying to temper this. The defense that Mike Zimmer has put in place just for so far week one, it looks better than the defense Dan Quinn had last year. It was balanced. Now, here's the differences between the two. Okay. Dan Quinn likes speed. Mike Zimmer likes speed. Dan Quinn kind of runs a hybrid. It's more of a 3-4 type of D, but it's a hybrid. So you can have the traditional two ends nose tackle, and then you got your outside linebackers, your middle linebackers, so on and so forth. What I mean by hybrid is because Dan Quinn could throw a safety as a linebacker, have a middle linebacker, had two D tackles, one end, one linebacker. You see what he mixes it up, which entails, because we had injuries, as you saw with the playoff game against Green Bay and other teams, they practically ran it down Dallas's throat. Dallas had to get ahead, so the edge rushers, aka DeMarcus Lawrence, Michael Parsons, and others can just go head hunt. This defense that Mike Zimmer traditionally runs is a 4-3, but the 4-3 has pressure. He can come from the left. He can come from the right. He can come straight up the gaps. A or B gap, if you know football terminology. The safeties, clue. Everybody swarms to the ball. It also, in Mike Zimmer's defense, tends to be more zone orientated. Don't get me wrong. Mike Zimmer's defense will play man to man. Okay. But it's a kind of like a concept that, let's say with Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs is a cluer. Again, I'm giving football terminology, which means he's reading your quarterback and he knows the routes that your receiver is going to do and he's going to jump it. He's perfect for Mike Zimmer's defense because he's going to back off a little bit and kind of see where the route goes and guess the route, because he knows 9 times out of 10 he kind of has safety help over the top. And with Mike Zimmer's style of zone defense is very disciplined. He does not let guys cross your face. In other words, for those that don't know, if a wide receiver imagine a wide receiver or something going right across your face. Like if you move your hand across your face, he does not allow that. You're going to trail that guy to your next guy. So it almost looks like it's a man-to-man defense, but it's really not. Damn, I can't wait till Deron Bland gets back in this defense. If you don't know, Deron Bland, who led the league in interceptions last year and defensive touchdowns last year for my Dallas Cowboys, he's going to be out for at least 6 to 8 weeks because of stress fracture in his foot. When he gets in this defense and he gets his legs on him, oh shit. Oh my goodness. The defense swarmed Deshaun Watson the whole game. The whole game. Let me give you Deshaun Watson's stats. Deshaun Watson was 24-45 for only 169 yards, which equates to an average of 3.8 yards per completion. He had one touchdown, 2 picks, one by Trayvon Diggs, by the way. Welcome back, Diggs. His QB rating was a 51.1, which is horrible. They harassed him the whole entire game. I'm trying to find the team stats while we're getting into it real quick because they had it up at one point. I want to say he was pressured like half the time. So I'm trying to find that as we're talking, as I'm talking to you all. But it's crazy how that man I can't find it right now, but let's just go with I know he was sacked 5 times. Demarcus Lawrence got him twice. Michael Parsons got him once. Michael Parsons had like 8 pressures. And dare I say, Mike Zimmer was moving him everywhere. Literally everywhere he could. It was like he lined up on left end, right end, linebacker, over the guard. It was like, where's Micah? Literally, where's Micah? Oh, and our boy Turpin, he finally got his punt return for a touchdown, too. So, offense, defense, and special teams contributed like crazy in this bludgeoning of the Browns. Cleveland only had 230 yards of total offense. 230 yards. Now, all I can say is if this defense is going to play this way the whole season, and the Browns scored a late touchdown, which is garbage time basically. So it was like, it was like the prevent defense came out, you know what I mean? But for those that want to, know how the now $240 million man, which if I recall reading right, $231 million of it guaranteed. That means Dakota Prescott is the highest paid player in NFL history by his salary. He was 19 of 32 for 179 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. QB rating of 85.3. Now, Dak did most of his damage in the first half. The game was practically over. And when I look at the film later on, I think a lot of the plays in the second half, it was almost like they were practicing. They're trying to get him and CD on that wavelength. Because CD, if I recall, yeah, I'm right. He only had 5 catches for 61 yards, no touchdowns. The touchdown pass was actually to Brandon Cooks, who did a beautiful, beautiful corner route off of Cleveland Blitz, which they barely do, but that's how Dak was carving them up. We also had my man Zeke come back, Ezekiel Elliott. Welcome home, Zeke. He had 10 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown. Rico Dowdell, 8 rushes, 26 yards. CD Lamb had 3 carries for 25 off jet sweeps. Brandon Cook had a run for 5 yards. Deuce Vaughn got in the game. Dak even ran once for 3 yards, but that was more of a scramble, right? Dallas finished with 102 yards rushing. If it's going to be a running back by committee, I can deal with that. Plus, the most important thing, Zeke is he's a short yardage back, and damn it, he picks up a blitz. Something that was missing from Dallas last season. I'm going to say it again. Zeke picks up blitzes. He's an excellent blocker, something that was missing from the Dallas offense last year. Now, I do have a concern. Jake Ferguson, our starting tight end, looks like he may have hurt his knee. I don't know if it's hyperextended. He kind of walked to the locker room after he got helped off the field. So I'm hoping it's just hyperextended, something minor. But we need him because that's Dak's really his other safety blanket. He was the second leading receiver for us last year. So I'm really hoping. And what I did see Mike McCarthy, even though it's the first week, he ran the ball. It was 25 times he ran the ball. There was a certain balance that was there. There are certain formations I saw that like, okay, you know this squad. And damn it, I hate giving Jerry Jones credit for something he says. He said last season there was a lot of young players that didn't get to play. So he's banking on these young players to actually play. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not mad at it because there's 2 that kind of stood out today, and they both on defense. First off, Kalen Carson, excuse me. He's a rookie. Yes, he wears 21, which was Zeke's number and Deion's number. I was kind of mad at that, but it is what it is. He's a rookie. He's actually a 5th-round pick. He actually played a decent game. He could have had 1 pick. He got beat. I'm trying to remember the play. But I want to say it was Amari Cooper. There he got beat. It was like a corner route. No, I'm sorry, an out route. Because he backed off and it was quick. But other than that, he played a good game. Now, who I was really impressed with, remember this name, DeMarvion Overshown. I'm sorry, DeMarvion Overshown. 6'2", 220 pounds. Technically, he's a rookie. The reason why I say technically, he was our 3rd-round pick last season. That's why I said last season. He tore his ACL during training camp. During the broadcast, Tom Brady said that Mike Zimmer loves this kid. And he's fast. He was showing up to me, and when I look at the film, I think he's going to really stand out. You know why? Because technically he led the team in tackles with 11. He had 5 solos by himself, and he also had a sack. All I know is this. So far, so good. So far, so good. We want to know. Like I said, we play New Orleans next week. I guess it's going to be the game of the week because Tom Brady is calling the game again. Big cheese on my face if you're listening. And if you're looking at me, you see started off good. Now, what I will say that didn't start off good, how can I put it right? And this is going to be because it's football and I'm trying to do time restraints. Oh, by the way, before I get into the other team, quick note from the Thursday game between the Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. Excuse me. My synopsis of that game: for some damn reason, Lamar Jackson beat everybody else except Kansas City. Everybody's going to talk about those 2 throws that he missed. Well, technically one. He missed one that would have tied the game. I want to say it was a miscommunication. Well, I can't even say it was miscommunication. He was throwing it to somewhere else, and Zay Flowers popped open. So that was one. And Lively, the tight end, if he would have wore his half size shoe, a shorter shoe, the game would have been. Well, I ain't gonna say tight because Jim Harbaugh was saying go for 2. For some reason, Baltimore just can't beat Kansas City. Lamar can't beat Kansas City. And Lamar had a great game. He ran the ball for over 100 yards. He passed for over 200. Just for some damn reason, can't beat this team. Another thing, I got a complaint with one thing with the NFL though. This is always a thing with me. And Gilbert Arenas and his podcast crew said it, and I thought about it for a while. Why does the NFL, the first game, always have 2 heavyweights against each other? It's the first week in football. I'm not saying have 2 sorry teams. I'm not saying that. But 2 heavyweight giants facing each other? No. I'd rather have them in week 4 or 5 facing each other. Because imagine Kansas City and Baltimore both 5-0. Or 4-0. Or 4-1. You see what I'm getting at? Next time we see these 2 teams, maybe the playoffs. And the first game of the season, that loss by Baltimore is going to hurt them when it comes to home field advantage eventually. I'm not saying don't have heavyweights, but how about you have, let's say, Baltimore versus Cincinnati, or the Bills versus Cincinnati, or you know what I mean? How about San Francisco versus Cincinnati? Something like that. Something that's going to pique your interest, but they're not going to, unless they face each other in the Super Bowl, it's really not going to have any bearings. If I'm making sense. Just a thought, my thought. The other game in Brazil, the Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Or as us Cowboy fans call them, the Beagles. Because we can't stand them and they can't stand us. Here's my thoughts on that game. One, speedy recovery for Jordan Love, because it looks like that he sprained his MCL, which technically is like a 6-week injury. If Green Bay can hold the ship, I think they'll be cool. I think Philadelphia, Saquon Barkley, man, the New York Giants are stupid. Your one offensive weapon, you let him go in free agency, not trade him. See, if this was like the Dallas Cowboys with Herschel Walker scenario, you traded him for a whole bunch of picks, I get it. You let him walk. And then we saw the off-season hard knocks with the Giants, and you see, man, if I'm the Marv family, if we do not improve, I'm not worried about firing the coach. I'm firing my GM for that dumbass decision to let Saquon go. Saquon had, if I recall, 3 touchdowns. Might have been 4. He was a star of the game. And Eagle fans, I hate to tell you this. You better worry about Jalen Hurts. Because if it wasn't for Saquon and a couple of throws that he did, one long catch and run by A.J. Brown, for example, you might be looking over your shoulder. You may technically, I would say, have the better roster than Dallas. But if I was to judge the two teams today, my Cowboys look better. But once again, it's week 1. I really don't put too much emphasis on week 1. Holla at me in week 3 when we really kind of see what everybody is. Oh, by the way, your defense still sucks. Jordan Love was carving them up. And a couple of, well, I ain't going to say couple. A lot of drop passes by his receivers. A lot of drop passes. That game should have, the eye test showed me Green Bay was better. You won the game, but Green Bay was better. Second thing, NFL, if you're going to have these games across the pond or in Brazil or South America, can you please check the field first? Can you have someone cut the grass? I know it's a soccer stadium and soccer field is supposed to be quote unquote fast. For those that don't know what that means, the grass is a certain way that with the soccer cleats, they can get up and down and things like that. Football cleats are different. They were slipping and sliding throughout the whole game. Definitely the first half. So NFL, if you're going to have these games, please, with cream and sugar on top, please have them cut the grass and do something. It would be greatly appreciated. But those are my thoughts on those 2 games. Had to get that out the way. Caleb Williams for the Bears looked horrible. The Bears defense and special teams bailed them out. This ain't USC, bruh. Them spectacular running around plays you do in college, that ain't going to work too much in the NFL. Unless your name, of course, is Michael Vick. Or your name is Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. They know how to get out the situation. Lamar just going. Patrick is like that point guard that he knows where everybody is. You ain't there yet. Calm that down. Tennessee blew that game. Fourth note. Tyreek Hill gets, you know who Tyreek is. Star wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins gets stopped before the game by cops. And apparently they had him on the ground, threw him on the ground allegedly. If it wasn't for his teammates, who knows what would have happened? If they didn't realize it was Tyreek Hill, who knows what would have happened? I've said this a million times when I do politics and things of that nature. Yo, if y'all don't vote to get as you see me on TikTok all the time, say doo-doo Don to make sure he does not get in office because he said openly out of his mouth that he will give police complete immunity. I don't know what to tell you. That situation this morning could have ended horrible. But by the blessings, he got to the game and actually had an 80-yard bomb touchdown that changed momentum against Jacksonville. And eventually, Miami won the game. Check out Tyreek's press conference after the game. He'll tell you in his words what happened and things. But let me transition to the team that's in Washington D.C. but technically is in Maryland. That'd be the Washington Commanders, or I say Commanders. Now, let me be fair. Well, let me tell you what happened with the game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the hell out the Washington Commanders 37-20. It really wasn't even that close. Baker Mayfield was 24 of 30 for 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked one time. Had a almost perfect QB rating. He had a QB rating, of 146.4. Let me say that again. Baker Mayfield, 24 for 30, 289 yards, with an average completion of 9.5 per attempt for completion attempt. 4 touchdowns. His rating was 146.4. It looked like he was back in Oklahoma. As for running the ball, it was either feast or famine for the Bucs. Because when I'm watching the game, there were some holes there that they were just gashing Washington. And there was times where the 2 D tackles for Washington, star D tackles, got in and caused havoc. Overall, the Bucs had 112 yards rushing. Mike Evans did Mike Evans things. 5 catches, 61 yards, 2 touchdowns. Chris Godwin did his normal thing. 8 receptions, 83 yards, touchdown. Javon McMillan, I didn't even know who this was. He had 1 catch for 32 yards. It just someone blew an assignment big time. But that looks normal when it comes to Washington's defense. Now, speaking of the defense, y'all took our defense coordinator, Dan Quinn, and made him head coach. I spoke to someone earlier today. Let me reiterate this, and I'm going to be fair to you Washington fans. Dan Quinn is the right man for the job. But I know how this fan base is. You're going to want to get him fired after 2 years. You don't have the talent you think you do. Give Dan Quinn time. I said openly he's going to have that atrocious defense that I think was ranked 31st. By the end of the year, you will be the middle of the pack. Or he's going to get rid of people. Because Baker was coughing y'all up. Blown assignments, missed tackles. So that's either telling me one or two things, if not both. Either you don't have the talent or your players are dumb. And once again, I'm basing this off last season. I'm not basing this really off week 1. Because I've said it in this episode, I don't really hold week 1 to heart for all teams. Because to me, week 1 is a regular season game, but it's extended preseason because there's a lot of sloppiness that goes on. I'm going to be fair on that. Speaking of sloppy, though, The one thing I was curious about was going to be the Washington offense. The run, you all ran for 138 yards, but it's very, very deceiving. Because Brian Robinson Jr., your starting running back, was 12 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown. Austin Eckler, who you got in free agency, 2 rushes for 10 yards. So that's really 50 yards. Your leading runner was Jaden Daniels, 16 rushes for 80 yards, and he had 2 rushing touchdowns. So it's one of two things. Either he's running for his life or he's running to make a play. I think it's actually a bit of both. Because I spoke to, again, this football stuff. I said openly, I don't think he should have started for the first month. Because you don't know what your offensive line was going to look like. You did not want him to get punch drunk. But to his credit, he saw some situations. He got up out of there. He was only sacked twice. He got up out of there. As for his passing, 17 for 24 for 184 yards. No picks, no touchdowns. He had a rating of 93.1. A lot of his stuff was where he completed was short, but there were throws, just to be fair, that he missed. To be fair. Now, I think he's going to learn. In the NFL, a half yard or a yard is open. In the NFL, you have to throw your receiver open. Your receivers are not open like they are in college. They're just running free. No. You throw your receiver open in the NFL. What I saw from him, you all have a promising guy. Now, as for the receiving part, Austin Eckler was your leading receiver for 4 receptions for 52 yards. That can't happen. Terry McLaurin only had 2 catches for 17 yards. That can't happen. So either the Bucks ganged up on Scary Terry or Jay's not seeing the field yet. But once again, he's a rookie. I'm going to give him a pass. See how fair I am? I'm being very fair. Washington, you have a good quarterback as long as you do not get him punch drunk. He's smiling. Now, a couple of them shots. First off, if you listen to me, can you get a tighter helmet, bruh? Your helmet got knocked off 2-3 times. This ain't college. They trying to hurt you, bruh. There was a couple of times I like, oh, he got down just in time. Because they were coming for the kill shot. You got to remember, young brother, if you are outside that pocket and you are running, you are a runner at this point. You are a running back. They will try to kill you. But overall, I will admit, I did not think Washington was going to get that ass whooped like that. I thought Tampa Bay was going to win the game. I did not think he was going to get your ass beat. I did not. Baker Mayfield once again looked like he was back at Oklahoma. So it is what it is. See how fair I am, Commanders fans. Commanders. I'm fair. Can't stand y'all. But I'm fair. And once again, the biggest thing that I saw with Jaden, no picks. Now, he did fumble 3 times, though. He did fumble 3 times. He didn't lose any. He did not lose any. But that's primarily because, one was like a strip sack. The other 2, I think he was just scrambling and just lost the ball. He has to be careful with that. That is not a loaf of bread, sir. As for the defense, Bobby Wagner led them in tackles of 10. Bobby Wagner's going to do Bobby Wagner stuff. I wish he would have came to Dallas, though, but it is what it is. Bobby doing this for the check. And once again, no picks for the secondary or anybody on Washington. I'm going to say it again. Dan Quinn, he's going to have your defense better. But you really don't have the talent you think you do. Tampa Bay's talent looks way better than your talent. Philadelphia talent looks way better than your talent. My Cowboys talent is way better than your talent. Green Bay's talent is way better than your talent. And as I'm recording this podcast now and the game is finally kicked off, Detroit and the Rams talent is better than yours. I haven't even looked at the game yet. See what I'm getting at? I know y'all fan base. I know how y'all think. A lot of y'all right now are up in arms over this game. We lost to Tampa. Tampa was in the playoffs last year. Were you? All I'm saying is give Dan Quinn some time. He built Atlanta from some bullshit and got them to the Super Bowl. And they lost to Tom Brady in the greatest comeback ever. But, I mean, I digress. Shit happens. Players fuck up. Give them time. Give them time. You got yourself a good quarterback. And from week one, from what I saw, he's not scared. That's the biggest thing I wanted to see. He's not scared. He's not punch drunk. He's not scared. I did not see deer. Sometimes with a rookie quarterback, you see their eyes get big. I didn't see that from him, which is a good thing. Which is an excellent thing. Now, if I recall, you all play the New York Football Giants next week at home. I do expect you all to win that game. You bet not lose that game. Not with Daniel Jones quarterbacking. The Giants got rid of the wrong one. I'm just saying. Just so y'all can understand. Let me pop up the Giants real quick before I get up out of here. Because the Giants got their ass whooped. Let me see here. Come on now. There we go. The Giants got their ass beat by the Vikings 28-6. 28-6. And let me be clear. Their best offensive weapon plays for the Philadelphia Eagles as we speak. I'm trying to pop it up. The Giants lost to Sam Darnold. Let me reiterate with that. They lost to Sam Darnold and the Vikings. Sam Darnold was 19 of 24, 208 yards. He threw a pick. He was only sacked one time. He had 208 yards with 2 touchdowns, and his passing rating QB rating was 113.2. On the other hand, Daniel Jones was 22 of 42 for only 186 yards with an average completion of 4.4 and threw 2 picks and was sacked 5 times. Man, if y'all don't whoop the Giants' ass, man, Don't lose to the Giants, man. If you lose to the Giants, we're gonna have a problem. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna have a problem. I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh. God knows I'm gonna laugh. Don't lose. But anyway, let me get up out of here. I know a lot of y'all want to. Where's the politics at? No politics. I'll probably do politics later on this week. Be more consistent with this because it's football season. After Dallas, here's the lineup for y'all don't know how this works. When football season comes and my Dallas Cowboys play, after the game is over, I'm gonna record the podcast. Then it's going to be edited. Then it's going to be sent. So it can be on, like I said, please like and subscribe to Hey Yo with D Sheldon, because after I've finished editing and everything, it will be sent to Spotify, Apple, and iHeartRadio. That's where you can hear this voice or see this face. Now, what I'm going to attempt to do is on Wednesday give y'all another podcast that deals with the world, politics, things like that. Because we do have an election November 5th. So you're going to get dual action for the next few weeks with me. All right. All right. Now that y'all got that understanding. Once again, I'd like to thank Rose Sweets LLC for sponsoring this program. That's Rose Sweets LLC, the best cupcakes and cake pops in the DMV area. You can look them up on Facebook and on Instagram at row_sweets_LLC, and you can reach them at rosesweets@gmail.com for prices, delivery options. You know the routine. And once again, please like, share, and subscribe to Hey Yo with D Sheldon. I love doing this here with y'all. Subscriber base is growing. Surprisingly, I didn't think it would go this far. But y'all must like a brother. So shout out to Unique Hoops Basketball Academy too. I was with them before I got sick. You know, I'm going to be coaching during the weekends. So Rico love the kids. That's all I can say. I love ball and I love the kids. What can I say? But I'm going to get up out of here. Once again, to recap, the Commanders lose the Bucks 37-20. My beloved Dallas Cowboys beat the Browns 33-17. Dak Prescott gets paid $40 million, well, if I'm not mistaken from the reports, 231 of it guaranteed. Now we got to get Michael signed. I'm going to jump out of here, watch the last game, and then pass out, which means go to sleep. As I always tell y'all, for me, I thought my cat was crying. Yes, my cat's in the studio with me. As I always say, may Father and ancestors take care of you, your loved ones, and anybody else that you care about. All right? I see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.